Okay. Good evening, FBLA. Welcome to Florida's July webinar. We're excited to have you all joining us for a phenomenal night packed full of great information. I would now like to introduce your outstanding officer team. First, we have the one and only Nathan Walters, your state reporter.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to thank you all for joining us for our July webinar.
Next up is the incredible Marvel movie connoisseur, Amanda Gomez, your state parliamentarian, who unfortunately could not join us tonight. Following that is the nicest guy on the face of this earth, Shady Mina, your state secretary.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward for a great webinar.
Next, we have true Southern charm with Alexandria Brown, your Region 1 Vice President.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be here.
Now introducing our own fashionista, Ashley Harris, your Region 2 Vice President.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to begin this webinar and talk to y'all.
Next, we have our punniest officer who lightens up every room, Zahra Barrow, your Region 4 Vice President, who unfortunately could not be joining us tonight. And last, but certainly not least, the man with a shining personality, Jonathan Scotto, your Region 5 Vice President.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Before we go in any further, the entire state officer team would like to thank everyone for their incredible job at Nationals. We would like to take a moment to personally acknowledge the Florida winners. Nathan, would you get us started?
Sure. So, Bao Duong, who placed 4th in agribusiness, Ethan Smith placed 7th in business calculations, and Caroline Chu placed 8th in business calculations. Hector Bibolonia and Roberto Garcia placed 5th in business financial plan. Stephen Lee placed 1st in computer applications. Alexander Manning placed 9th in computer problem solving. Jake Dyerberg, Alexander Austin, and Austin Pavis placed 1st in digital video production. Stefan Rao placed 10th in economics, and Laura Batista, who placed 8th in electronic career portfolio.
Shady? Shady, you're muted.
I apologize. We also have 4th place in emerging business issue, Adriana Perea and Erlis Rodriguez. And FBLA principles and procedures, also 4th place, Krishana Vicaria. 5th place in hospitality management, we have Caroline King, Claire Mortiz, and Sophia Newman. 8th place in hospitality management, we have Megan Umla, Shreya Parikh, and Prina Panchamrati. Insurance and risk management, 6th place, we have Shreya Nidavula. And others, in 9th place, we have Danielle Heidkeman in insurance and risk management as well. In 1st place, introduction to business, congratulations to Benjamin Gao. Congratulations to Simon Kosas, 8th place in introduction to business presentation. And to Anish Shum for introduction to financial math, 3rd place. As well as Hirish Cabraya in introduction to information technology, 10th place. Congratulations to all of you, and I apologize for mispronouncing any name.
Thank you, Shady. Alexandria? Alexandria, you're muted.
I do that every time. Anyway, 1st place we have Shady Mina in job interview. 4th place in Life Smarts we have Alan Litbook and Megan Wagner. 2nd place in Management Information Systems, Ronnie Picone and Julianne Martinez. 3rd place Management Info Systems, Noah Lee and Apurva Sista. 5th place Management Info Systems, Alexander Yagoda and Kevin. 5th place, Mobile Application Development, Michael Freud and Jamaica Griffin. And 4th, Network Design, Trevin Flint.
Thank you, Alexandria. Ashley?
Okay, I got my sound on this time. Okay, so in 4th place, we have Clay Carter in Network Design, along with Tegan Bailey. And then 8th place, we have James Hannigan in Network Design. Also in Network Design was Nicholas Inota. I think I got that right. And then in Network Design also was Anthony Comitos. And then in first place in Organizational Leadership, we have Rushi Vankiria. Y'all have very complex names, but I applaud y'all for that. And then in 8th place, we have Melissa Mikado in organizational leadership. And then in parliamentary procedure, in 6th place, we had Kayla Lorenzo, Natalie Sanchez, Amanda Gomez, and Andrea Torres.
Thank you, Ashley. Jonathan?
All right, so in personal finance, we have Willem Liu, who placed 2nd. Public speaking 1, we have Anna Perkins, who placed 6th. Securities and investments, we have William Klein, who placed 7th. In social media campaign, we have 1st place with Lauren Brashear, Daniela Jang, and Shangji Kim. And then for Matter Academy, 7th place, Crystal Thames. So 9th place, we have Kartika Ahern, Rika Remlal.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jonathan. You guys probably already see him on the bottom scroll, but Florida is also incredibly proud of our own Max Michel. The new National FBLA President is actually joining us tonight.
Hey guys, I'm excited to be on here. I'm excited to be working alongside the Florida FBLA officer team. The national officer team will actually be attending training tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week. So if you have any suggestions as we work on our program of work, please feel free to email any of us. You can email me at fblapres@fbla.org, and I can't wait to see what this webinar will entail. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Max, for joining us. I know we're all excited that you're here. It is now time to carry that excitement to the next portion of our webinar. With Nathan and Shady, we'll speak to you all about Florida's state project, the American Cancer Society. Nathan?
Before I get started, if you guys have any questions pertaining to the state project or anything about the webinar, you can comment on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll be answering all questions after we finish the webinar. So as you all know, every year our state team chooses an organization that we want the entire state to participate with, and this year we chose the American Cancer Society. So to give you an idea of how you and your chapters can get involved with the ACS, here's a few things that can get you started. You can join community events such as local walks and Relay for Life that are in your area. Fundraising is a really good way to make a big impact, and you can be really creative with it. So whether it's a car wash or selling things at your school, it's a great way to get your school and community involved. Something that my chapter is talking about doing is making like care baskets for people who, when they're down. So basically just putting in some supplies to help them out and going out and donating them to them, as well as going out to local hospitals or treatment centers just to volunteer. So there's so many ways that you can be involved with the American Cancer Society, whether it's fundraising or raising awareness, everything can help. So in the description, there's a link that will take you to a list of events that are going on around Florida. It has the date and tons of information about it, so your school can go out and participate. If you have any suggestions for things that other people can do, feel free to comment it on the right-hand side. And yeah, that's it. So now Shady is going to go over a little bit more information about the American Cancer Society.
So the American Cancer Society is a great organization. It's a nationwide voluntary health organization dedicated to eliminating cancer. You can visit their website, which is full of many valuable resources that could help you, your chapter, and your school at www.cancer.org. You can even call them at 1-800-227-2345. Again, that's 1-800-227-2345. The CEO actually was put into a CEO position in 2015, and he's currently the CEO, and his name is Gary M. Reedy, and the organization was founded in May 23rd of 1913. And when you fundraise, or your chapter would fundraise, I believe the tax deductible code is 501c3. So why did we pick the American Cancer Society? Well, the American Cancer Society has invested over $4.6 billion in cancer research since 1946. There has been 6.3 million rights to treatment that the American Cancer Society has provided for the cancer patients. And there has been 781,000 screenings that the American Cancer Society has contributed to underserved communities since 2011. And overall, 2.1 million cancer deaths was averted since 1991. And that is all due to the wonderful research and your great help. So Nathan already first hinted on it, and it's the Relay for Life. So the Relay for Life is designed to help your community celebrate cancer survivors, remember those that got lost to cancer, and fight back through fundraising. So it's a student fundraising cancer walk, and it's staffed and coordinated by volunteers. And these volunteers could be us. It's also done by many leaders, which could be you guys. So if you can visit the www.cancer.org, and get into the Get Involved tab, and you can see, put your zip code in and see what the closest Street Light for Life would be, and from there you could do it. And I want to let you know you'll be joining more than 5,200 communities who are full with volunteers in also 20 countries. There's also many other ways to help. So there's Road to Recovery, Look Good, Feel Better, Community Office, Support Volunteers, and Determination. And you can visit all of these on the website or leave us with some comments or any suggestions. That way you don't take much of the webinar. Thank you very much. And we hope to see you fundraising and making sure that we help support the American Cancer Society as well as the March of Dimes.
Thank you, Shady and Nathan, for that one-of-a-kind job. I hope everyone's looking forward to working on the state project this year. I know that I am. But there's also something else that is extremely essential when it comes to FBLA and community service. That is the National Project March of Dimes. And Max, would you go ahead and tell us more about that?
Yeah, of course. So FBLA has been partnered with March of Dimes for the past few decades, actually, and it's been a huge partnership between FBLA and March of Dimes. So Zachary has linked some helpful links in the bottom description that will help you out in your chapter fundraising for March of Dimes. So the first link is helping find a March of Dimes office near you, and that way you can coordinate some local charity events and March of Dimes events in order to fundraise for March of Dimes, because it's a great thing to do for your chapter. And also, there's grants that the March of Dimes provides for local chapters, up to $1,000 for local chapters and up to $2,500 for state chapters. And this is the second link that Zach has linked down below, and it's to the resources guide on the FBLA PBL National Center website. And there you can find ways to fundraise, different techniques, as well as the application for those grants. And those grants will really help out, if you put your time and efforts towards helping out the March of Dimes. The March of Dimes is a charity that supports premature babies and research that helps fight premature babies. And there's events all throughout the year that the March of Dimes hosts, like World Prematurity Day on November 17th, as well as during FBLA PBL week, many chapters do a service event on that Saturday that's related to March of Dimes. So like I said before, those two helpful links will certainly help any chapter coordinate events or apply for those grants at the national website. And those grants are given out at the National Leadership Conference, which next year will be in Baltimore, Maryland.
Thank you, Max, for that fantastic wisdom. Now we'll move on to our next portion, which will be on the BAA and CSA. Jonathan, you're up.
All right, so essentially, like, the BAA and CSA are the FBLA national membership programs that you can receive recognition and awards for. I'm going to start off with the BAAs. The BAAs have 4 different levels. It's Future Business Leader in America. They basically make you submit activities and do some assignments, and then you get a pin in the mail that kind of separates you, I guess, from the rest who has, like, I guess no pins, but that kind of puts you in the status of being on the future level or the business level, which are both local chapter awards. And then once you get to leader, that becomes a state award. And then America, you get recognized at the national conference and your regional rallies. A little bit more about how you can sign up for the BAAs is how you get your advisor to sign up as an advisor account on the FBLA.org website. Then you have her sign you up as a member of the BAA program, and you go through the ranks. And then once you submit all of the one level, your advisor, he or she, can submit it as a complete assignment, and then a pin will come in the mail for Future in Business. After you complete leader at your state conference, which is the blue pin, America, you will get a pin at the national conference. A little bit about the activities. They're relatively simple, easy to complete. I completed the first 2 levels of BAA within a week, and then I did leader over the course of a month, and then America was obviously a little bit longer. They highlight activities that for financial literacy. Some of them include dining etiquette. It's kind of funny. And then, so that's kind of the different aspects of where you can get BAA recognition. And then when it comes to CSA, they are called the Community Service Awards, and the different levels are Community Service and Achievement for Community Service Achievement Awards. And then for the number of hours you can document throughout your FBLA career. So I've been in FBLA for 7 years. So over the past 7 years, I can submit hours and record them and talk a little bit about what I did. And then once I complete the levels, my advisor can submit it as a complete assignment, and then I will get recognized for the highest level at the national conference. Activities can range from doing a beach cleanup to helping your advisor to competition tutoring. Basically anything you could get community service hours for throughout your FBLA career can be recorded and documented, and you get recognized for it. A certificate that comes in a PDF format, and ways to get involved in FBLA and learn a little bit more about the organization. It kind of for FBLA and all the activities that I can do throughout it. Even though it did not consume much time, it was definitely worthwhile for me. So,
thank you, Jonathan, for that firsthand experience. I hope you all look into participating in the BAA, CSA, and other national programs. Alexandria, would you like to now talk to everyone about a little bit about upcoming opportunities?
Coming up in August, the state officer team actually has some more resources for everyone to use to advance in their competition, which includes study materials and guides, just things to help you get further along. Also, the upcoming webinar schedule, the new webinar schedule will be on the second Tuesday of every month from 7/8 Eastern, 6/7 Central. And our next webinar will actually be focused around recruitment and what you look forward to for the upcoming school year. Now back to Zach.
Thank you, Alexandria. We're now actually going to move to our Q&A session. And if we need to add anything, we'll go ahead and let you guys know as well. This session will be led by me and Ashley, who will alternate reading questions. These questions can be asked in the live chat if you're on a mobile device, which is lower down, or if you're on a computer, as Nathan said earlier, it'd be towards the right of your screen. You can ask these questions to specific officers or leave them open for anyone to answer. So we'll go ahead and let you guys begin doing that. While we're waiting for questions, Max, is there anything you'd like to add about anything we've spoken on tonight?
I think you guys hit the nail on the head with everything. I'm just incredibly proud to be from Florida. You guys are the reason for that. And I'm looking forward to all these questions. So thank you, Zach, for leading this webinar.
Thank you, Max. Thank you for being here. We actually have our first question, which is, what is your favorite memory from NLC? So who would like to get started on that? Okay, I'll go ahead and I guess I'll start off with that one. Personally, for me, I think my favorite memory was probably having the opportunity to honestly get to see something from a different level. When we all campaigned on the state level, and that's one thing, but getting to campaign on the national level is something completely different. I probably have to say my favorite memory was getting to campaign for Max, getting to bond with those people who were working at his booth, and just getting to see how it really worked, getting to feel the emotions. There were so many different emotions going on, and I know that night that he won, we were all over the top elated. Does anybody else want to answer this question?
I think for me, IFL was probably one of the most memorable experiences. Kind of networking with all the state officers from different states was pretty interesting, and making new friends, and I love them to death. And I think that I cannot wait for next year to see them all over again. And yeah, that was my favorite experience from that.
And for me, I believe it was all the wonderful FBLA members, getting to see their mindsets, and as you said, campaigning for Max and for seeing all the Florida members and all of FBLA was a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Shady. It really is amazing just being able to meet people from across the country. When you're at states, you get to meet people from your state, and then you also get to meet them again at nationals, as well as meet other people from around the country. So that was my favorite experience, just being able to meet so many new people.
I would say, building off of what Zach said, I mean, it was incredibly humbling to be meeting with all those people from different states, and having such, great campaign people to be behind you certainly, helped push me to work those campaign booth days and things like that. The best experience, I would say, is just the feeling of hearing your name called, whether you're a competitor or whether you're a candidate. I mean, it's just always a unique feeling to know that what you worked for is being recognized at the national level. So whether it was someone who completed their America level on their BAAs, or for me who ran and won national president, I think it's just, I think everyone can relate to the fact that hearing your name called is certainly a humbling experience, because you, are competing against some of the toughest people in the nation, and you came out on top. I think that's certainly something that sticks with you.
Thank you. Would any of you guys like anything? What, Ashley?
I can go. Since this was my first national conference, it was exhilarating. I mean, the sessions, they were amazing. They got everyone pumped up for it. But I think the pin idea, everyone can trade pins from their states, that was like amazing. All the kids from our chapter were like, we had a contest between everybody to see who can get the most pins from all over the states around. And that just really got people interested in meeting other students from all across the country and even from different countries. I know a girl, she got one from Haiti and she was like so excited. She's like, oh my gosh. But I think that's a tradition that should continue going for years to come because it just gets students more involved in it every year.
Fantastic. Thank you all for your input. We'll now move to the next question. We're having some technical difficulties, so I'll just continue reading them. Do you have anything new for your middle school chapters / students? Who would like to go ahead and start that one?
So yeah, I was in middle level for like the first 3 years of my like FBLA experience, and I can honestly say that like this year we're trying to incorporate a lot more of the middle level like inclusiveness is kind of a big part of our PAL, making sure that the middle level members are included. Because when I was in middle level, I was kind of scared to see like all these high schoolers and almost adults like around me at national and state. At the state conference, and basically, we're just trying to make sure that every middle level member has the chance to be heard and have a place at the conferences that we're starting with the fall conference and the state conference for the March and November conferences. So essentially what is like, it's just the foundation for what FBLA and PBL stand for. And I think that like being in middle level completely changed my life and I wouldn't be here without it. So I think like first term, it was like that moment where I wanted to give back to where I started and the people who helped me get here. Is really working hard to make sure that middle level members are included and that they're not scared or shy. We're trying to get them out of their shell, just like FBLA did for me 7 years ago.
Thank you, Jonathan. Again, great experience and advice. I know that one thing that we've been working on is trying to get more resources out to the middle level along with the other levels. We want to try and boost the participation within the Adopt a Chapter program as well. I know that as a high schooler, when I came into high school as a freshman, you're in that kind of state of transition. You're in a transition period from when you're not quite a high schooler yet, you're still a middle schooler, but you're trying to get in. And one of the greatest things for me was having someone help me through the process, having an older kid sort of mentor me, act like my brother, act like my sister. And that's something we want to boost so that middle schoolers can have that experience with high school chapters as well. Okay. Would any of you guys like to add anything more?
I just
go ahead,
middle. No, go ahead, Max.
No, go ahead, because I'll just wrap it up when you're done.
Yeah, I want to say middle level FBLAs have potential. They're the foundation, as Jonathan said, of our organization. They're the one that's going to flourish and be the true future business leader. So it's crucial to us, and we want to make sure that every middle level member is as strong and as proud of being an FBLA member as possible.
Yeah, I'm building off of what Zach said about that, mentorship that high schoolers should have with middle level members. It's certainly something that is in place at the National Center and something that we encourage that high school chapters adopt with other middle level chapters and help grow their chapters. Certainly, like I said before, as the National Officer Team is working on the program of work, we invite all suggestions in terms of dealing with middle level members, because I was in middle level, but it's been a couple years since then. So if you're in middle level right now, I would really suggest that you email me or contact me and just drop some suggestions as to what the National Officer Team could be looking out for in terms of extending a good hand to the middle level members.
And Max, is all of your email and contact information on the national website already?
Yeah, so if you click on FBLA and you click on national officers, you'll see the different national officers. And if you click on our profiles, it will show you our emails. So, FBLA Pres at FBLA.org and then FBLA Sec at FBLA.org for the secretary and so on.
Thank you. Our next
Also,
go ahead, Jonathan.
I forgot to say that middle level, I think is like going through a redesign from the National Center for the upcoming year. So whichever advisor asks that question, just make sure you watch out for any emails coming from the state or national level in regards to that, because I know I saw it through a state officer memo that they are doing a redesign for middle level for the upcoming year.
Jonathan. Our next question is, what are some ways to help new chapters activate or get more involved in FBLA? I know one immediate thing that we've been working on, our regional vice presidents have been working on really hard, is reaching out to those district officers. After this upcoming event, the board meeting is coming up, and we're going to have more access to the contact information of the chapter officers, the district officers, chapter advisors, and we're going to make sure that these district presidents, these district officers, are reaching out to the newer chapters to help them through the beginning process, the transition process into FBLA. The state officers this year will also be doing some traveling to make sure that we are visiting you guys and have a face-to-face, more personal involvement with all of you. Would you guys like to add anything?
Just going based off what Zach said, we're all here to help. So Zach added all of our email addresses in the bottom. So if you ever want us to come out to your schools or just want to have a conversation with us about anything you need, feel free to contact us at any time because our information is in the description.
Just kind of building off of Zach's point again, and I keep referring back to the National Center website, fbla-pbl.org. But again, this is a great resources. These have great resources for members and prospective members to use in order to start their chapter. And so in terms of activating a new chapter, if you click again on that FBLA tab and click on About FBLA, if you scroll towards the bottom, you'll see some information about starting a chapter and how to pay your dues and things like that. It can be kind of confusing at first, but once you navigate through it a little bit, it will definitely become easy, and there's a lot of information on there. Something else I suggest is the Chapter Management Handbook Guide, which again is on that same tab. So if you have any questions about reactivating a chapter or starting a chapter, that will certainly help you out in terms of setting up your officer team and getting some other resources put together.
Thank you, Max. And along with what Max said, we're also compiling some of these resources together so that you guys have a direct access it along with the national website. Well, thank you guys for your questions. Keep them coming. How do you plan on promoting the 2017-2018 national membership theme of Elevate Your Future to your membership this upcoming year? Would any of you guys like to get started on that? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get started with it then. So Elevate Your Future, our theme this year, our state theme, is Dare to Dream. Both of these things can connect on different levels. You know, you can dare to dream by elevating your future. How we'd work on that to promote that as well is making sure that the national officers are involved with this state team. I know we're already trying to get more involved with the national team to make sure that Florida is working hand in hand with them by inviting people such as our wonderful National President, Max, to join us on these webinars. In the future, we can host other national officers. We can keep Max coming. There's so many different ways that we have an ability to work with the National Center and make sure that we're bringing everything down to Florida as well.
Building off of Zach's point about integrating those two things, the NFLCs this year, the National Fall Leadership Conferences will be held in Louisiana, in New Orleans, Louisiana, Buffalo, New York, and St. Louis, Missouri. And certainly in all those conferences, there's going to be plenty of workshops that you can go visit about how you can elevate your future and your success within FBLA, as well as within our own state leadership conference. We'll have plenty of workshops, and we encourage those other states who may be watching right now to visit the National Center website and use those resources on there in order to make their own workshops correlating with their state theme and then the national theme.
Max, does anybody else have anything to add? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. What is one lesson you took away from NLC? It's a very, very, very good question. Who would like to get started with that?
So for me, NLC was a very big learning experience. I think that in the end, just make time to enjoy yourself because you're only at nationals once a year and you only have maybe 4 chances to go to FBLA nationals. So definitely just enjoy your time. Make sure you go out to eat and make sure you have fun and make sure that it's not all about your competition, but make sure you also focus on studying up and knowing everything that you need to know to make sure you place.
Yeah, going off what Jonathan said, the one thing that I would definitely say I took away from this conference was not to get too caught up in your event and how stressful it could be. Just you're there with your friends one time, make the most out of it because it's not like you get to go to California with your friends every day. So it was a cool experience.
One thing that I learned is taking advantage of the resources, the workshops. as Max said earlier, there's going to be plenty of different workshops that you can take things away from. I know that one of the workshops this year was a college readiness, a college preparedness little interaction demonstration. With these workshops, they can give you so many great ideas for your future in FBLA and then after FBLA and PBL and potentially professional division. There's so many different ways that you can gain things by talking to people, by networking at NLC. You know, earlier Jonathan talked about IFL, and that is an incredible opportunity for members to meet and interact with new officers and new people together. You guys have anything else to add?
I have something. I think one of the biggest lessons I took from the Nationals was just communication with meeting so many people from all over. I actually took a certification where I got a certification in small business operations. And the girl beside me, who was also from Florida, got a graphic design certification. So me and her got to talking, and she's actually going to help create a logo or a design for my business. And in return, I'm going to help her build her marketing aspect of it. So when you're there at Nationals, you meet so many different people that you can interact with and gain their resources, and they can gain your resources. And it just, that's what you want in the future as a business leader. You want to expand your horizons with things like that. So that was just a wonderful opportunity.
And going off to what Ashley and Zach said, absolutely, networking and making sure that you exchange resources, that's truly the business, and that's how we view business in real life in FBLA.
I just wanted to add something to what Nathan said, because I think he said it so well about, you know, and Jonathan as well, about not taking it, you know, about making time to enjoy yourself while you're at Nationals, because it's going to be so important. You know, these are 4 incredible years that you can go to Nationals, but it's also so important to just recognize that you're there to have fun. You're a high school student, so of course take your competition seriously, but also just, you know, take a step back and realize how what an amazing opportunity you have and how much you should enjoy it with the people around you.
Thank you all for those outstanding words of wisdom. I know that you guys all have brilliant things to say that I think all of the people watching are excited to hear. Our next question is, how can district presidents connect with each other to share ideas? I know that one thing that the regional VPs have been working on, they can tell you more about it, Alexandria and Jonathan and Ashley, who are here with us right now, is gathering the contacts for the district presidents. And once we have all of those contacts, putting them together in a group meet, and also holding monthly meetings with their district presidents or a district representative. These will allow these district officers to connect with one another in the group meet and in these meetings, and to get to know their state regional vice president as well. Would you three like anything to add about what you have been doing?
One thing I would like to add is the way I want to get started with some of these is like I want to talk to each district president in my region and get to know them personally, and then putting us all in one giant group chat and getting to know each other, because I think connection and knowing more about each other will help us in the long run.
Thank you, Alexandria. Ashley?
Yeah, just to piggyback off of hers, what we're going to do is that we're going to all have like a Google Drive where they can share their ideas and flyers and things like that. Everyone can put their input into it, but also having our emails share between each other and text messages to where we can all communicate our ideas and get hands-on and just learn directly from each other about what all we're trying to do.
Thank you, Ashley. Do any of you guys have anything else to add about that? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. This is again to all of the regional VPs, but all of you feel free to add your input. What are you looking forward to most in terms of interacting with your region members? So what would you guys?
I'll take that one. I think that coming from one of the largest chapters in the nation, I get a lot of questions regarding membership increasement. I think that I really want to talk to smaller chapters and work on with our 100 club, which is coming out soon. It's doubling or increasing your membership by 100 members, and I think that really helps with the push of membership, and that membership isn't only about the number. I think it's also about the quality, so enhancing what we have and then growing from there. I think for Region 5, with Palm Beach being #1 and Corey being #2, along with Watson and Coral Gables also on the membership list, I think that those big chapters should also share their skills and to making sure adequate materials and resources to make sure that they can be the best chapters that they have, and just to succeed and dare to dream.
Jonathan? Ashley, Alexandria, would you guys like to add anything to that? I'll go ahead and extend this question to Max as well. Max, what do you look forward to when it comes to interacting with the entire nation this year?
Well, interacting with the entire nation is certainly a big task. So like the same way that Florida's set up, we have regional vice presidents as well. And I'm really looking forward to getting to know each vice president so that they can get to know the state presidents and state officer team from their region. And in that way, I really hope to be able to see FBLA and how it works in different states, because I know, for example, Wyoming FBLA does their state conference entirely differently than Florida FBLA. So I think that's probably what I'm most looking forward to, is the fact that I'm able to see how these different states operate in terms of the state leadership level, as well as other ways that they interact with their members.
Thank you, Max. This next question is for Jonathan specifically, but I feel it pertains to all of you. So after Jonathan has a go at it, you guys can go ahead and add some of your input. Jonathan, how do you manage your time in terms of excelling as a student, state officer, chapter officer, and in your personal life?
So currently I'm right now in South Bend, Indiana. I'm at a leadership seminar at Notre Dame University, and it was kind of stressful because I had to run across campus and be here for the webinar, and I think everyone went to dinner and was freaking out as to where I was. It was kind of concerning, but being here, and I think FBLA has always been a main priority for me all throughout. I think that through my school life and I guess in my chapter life, I've always tried to make FBLA a commitment for me and always make school first, and then FBLA second. I think that's also an important factor that I think everyone should focus on, is because at the end of the day, school is what to be able to do clubs and organizations. So, and when it comes to FBLA, as a chapter officer, I served as chapter president this past year, and then I stepped down and became vice president of membership. Just getting close with the members and making sure that you're out there and communicating with everyone, and that they know your name and they can come up to you and ask you any questions, as well as just being knowledgeable in FBLA trivia and different tactics that you can help people out with their competitions. I think that chapter has 5 members or 600 like mine. I think that making sure that you know what you're talking about and how you can help people around you and increase your membership is really important.
Phenomenal job, Jonathan. Does anybody else have anything to add to that? I know that Alexandria and Shady are actually working. You both have jobs, correct?
Yes, yep.
How do you guys balance your job with FBLA and your personal?
Well, I always put FBLA first, and actually all my team members in my job now know FBLA, and a lot of them who are attending my same high school or different high school are actually now members of FBLA. So that's one thing of the balance. So when we're there, I still want to dedicate time to FBLA, and besides all the state officer duties that I'm delighted to do, I want to make sure that FBLA is on top and also providing the best service at any task. So how I do it is that you put a plan, you execute it, and be strong at time management. And these are all skills you're going to learn, and they're going to be essential to your future career as well.
Alexandria?
One thing I do to kind of help keep everything balanced is I keep a very detailed organizer because I'm so OCD about things. So I keep everything written down, and I make sure I dedicate enough time to each and everything I have going on. So whether, it's I have work at a certain time, so I make sure, as soon as I get off work, I'm home, I'm dressed, I'm ready to do the webinar. So just different things like that. I just try to stay organized and make sure I'm dedicating enough time to everything.
Phenomenal. I actually know that Alexandria is trying to balance a couple things right now. She's actually at her school with her entire chapter joining her for the webinar. Some of them, they're off. Yeah. Isn't that right, Alexandria? I know that all of us are working on balancing things as we go into this next year. It is during the summer, and during the summer, there's other responsibilities, but we've set up systems to make sure that we're still putting time forth for FBLA, and it stays our top priority. Because, for us, FBLA comes first. Our next question is to all of us, and it's specifically to Jonathan, but it applies to all of us. What are some ways you plan on interacting with the membership through your FBLA social medias? So Jonathan, we'll go ahead and let you answer this first.
For social media between membership? that what you asked?
Yep. How do you plan on interacting with social media?
I have an FBLA social media page as well as my personal page. My FBLA page is Scotto FBLA, and I make sure that I have as many people as possible from FBLA in the organization, from all different levels, on there. And I post frequently just the different things going on in my FBLA life, or happy birthday posts to my FBLA friends. I think that communicating through social media is a new norm for us, and I think that social media involvement is very critical now when it comes to recruiting membership. I know that we completely revamped our social media presence before this upcoming year, and we gained 140 members, actually 160 members just from self, and making sure that we have the website, we have the LinkedIn, we have the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we are all out and for all of them. And I think that social media, but it's how you use it. I think that you have to make it interesting and that really encourage members to join and get involved. Overall, social media has had a major impact in my FBLA career this past year, and I think that even through IFL, we had a giant board with everyone just writing down their communications and goals and stuff for the social media pages. So networking as well as recruitment are very important when it comes to social media.
And building off of Jonathan's points about social media, I think it's also a powerful tool to use. Whether you're a state officer or a national officer, because I know that, as a national candidate, people were able to DM me and message me about questions that they had. And I was able to respond immediately because it's just that simple with social media. And like Jonathan said, I have a personal, I have a main FBLA account that people use to follow. And then that way they can message me and communicate directly with me. I know one example is that Nathan, right before this webinar, he posted something to his Instagram story. And that's a great way for members to kind of see what's going on. And, it's cheap, it's effective, and it's a great way to communicate with members from all across your state.
And from the state as a whole, we're actually in the process of revamping all of our social media usage for Florida FBLA. If you go on Facebook, type in Florida FBLA, they're starting to post more regularly, sometimes even on a daily basis. We're also working in the process of revamping the website to make it easier to navigate for all of you. The officer team is also currently working on different ways in which these social media platforms can be used to reach out to different people in the community, whether it be through YouTube. I know some people consider YouTube to be a social media. We're doing these webinars. Also, if you're looking to follow any of us, if you go into the details about this channel on this FBLA YouTube channel, all of our Instagrams, the links to our Instagrams are in there so that you guys can go follow us, go DM us, and just see what we're doing on our social medias firsthand. Do any of you guys have anything else to add? No? Okay. So one of the other questions that we could talk about is pertaining to NLC, what is one way that you plan to bring back what you learned at NLC to your chapters? Would you guys like to go first? Okay, I'll go ahead and start this one off. Oh, Nathan?
Oh, no, I was just going to ask what the question was.
How do you plan to bring back what you've learned from NLC to your chapters?
Okay. You can go ahead. It's fine.
I know that many of our chapter members worked on gathering resources through watching competitions and talking to them, and they're actually presenting them back at their chapters. So if you guys are members and you attended NLC, make sure to come back and talk with your friends back at home. Maybe talk to your advisor about presenting, bringing back what you have learned to all of them. Do you guys have anything else to add?
I was just going to build. Oh, go ahead, Nathan. I don't want to hear.
Okay, thanks. But basically, I was just going to add on saying how our chapter, we talked with different schools and we got some ideas from them on how we could expand membership at our school. So kind of like Jonathan was saying in the last question, how using social media could be a great way to expand membership and improve upon it. So that's something that our chapter is really going to push hard this year. So definitely just networking with people and getting some new ideas for what we can implement in our chapter.
I would say I actually brought this up earlier about networking with other people. Even if you're sitting next to that person taking a certification test, I think that's probably one of the strongest things anyone can take back from a national leadership conference, because things like IFL, Institute for Leaders, you meet a lot of great state officers and a lot of chapter officers from all around the nation, and they all have great ideas about how FBLA works. So I think one of the most valuable things is bringing back contact information and ideas from other people that you shared at the National Leadership Conference.
From a personal standpoint, I actually got to bond with someone that was actually one of our winners, Nicholas Ionata, who attended the MIT launch program, and he's now starting his own business. Getting to connect with those people, they have so much experience. There's so many people around the country that you can meet that have so much to say, so many different things to give you to help you in your future. Getting to meet Nick and getting to talk to him, I learned a lot about what it means to actually take that next step. We're in FBLA right now, we're the future. Once we get to the future, we're taking that next step into creating our own businesses, starting our own businesses. And getting to talk to someone that had been in FBLA and then has finally started his own business was incredible. It was a great experience that I got to have just from going to NLC. Would you guys like to add anything else before we move on to the next question? Ashley?
I would like to. I actually brought my vice president for the upcoming year with me to nationals. And since I was doing all my state officer stuff, I sent her off to a lot of the workshops and to watch some of the competitions that went on. And so me and her collaborated afterwards about all the new things that she learned, because this was only her second year in FBLA and her first time going to nationals. So me and her are going to collaborate more on how we can improve social media in our chapter, how we can improve membership, how we can improve competitions and study material and all things like that. So when we go to our officer retreat for our chapter officers, we can collaborate more with them, expand their knowledge with it, and later bring it back to our chapter as a whole.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ashley, and thank you all for your input. Our next question is, how do you plan on interacting and collaborating with other states? I'll read it again. How do you plan on interacting and collaborating with other states? I'll go ahead and get that started. At the NLC, I was able to gather the contact information of many other state officers. Through this, I, as an individual, plan to reach out to them, talk with them, and get their advice on what they've been doing and share with them what we're doing as a state. Together, through working with the other state officers around the country, we can bond and we can grow together, building up FBLA as a whole. Do you guys have anything else to say about that?
Yes, if I could, I know.
Sorry, go ahead, Shady.
Right, thank you. I know Zach and I exchanged business cards with a lot of FBLA members, FBLA state officers, and Florida members. And that's one thing we had to network and get ideas from them. We'll look forward to communicating with them, getting a lot of ideas that they implemented their state and implementing it in our state, as well as sharing all of our strategies, because at the end, we're all one FBLA.
Yeah, I was just going to say one big thing is social media. Like, it's just the easiest way for me personally, how you can just instantly reach out to people and you can follow people who are, for example, other state reporters or other state presidents, or even just chapter members from across the nation. It's really a great way that you can easily just DM them or get their contact information so you guys can collaborate back and forth. So that's the one way that I'm really pushing contacting people.
One thing that I would like to bring up is councils. You know, they're a great way for national officers to communicate with state officers and state members. So whether you're in Florida or you're outside of Florida, I would strongly encourage you to apply to any kind of council. One example, you know, keeping it in the Southern region, the Southern Regions Councils usually has a state representative. And so that's a great way for, it's a great opportunity, especially for members to be able to step up to the plate with FBLA and communicate more with their national officer team and work alongside the state officer team in doing so.
Max, would you like to share with us when councils will begin accepting applications?
Yeah, so usually their applications are out in late August and early September. The deadlines are usually in early September. And if you go on the website, I don't have the link, but it's under the councils tab, which I don't think is up yet, given that they're not out yet. But I would say look for those and make sure to apply to councils, because it's a great opportunity to get involved in FBLA and you know, really make your mark within working alongside the state officer, excuse me, the national officers. So Zach, those applications come out, you know, around mid to late August.
Thank you, Max. Any last word before we move on to the next question?
No.
Yeah, I think that.
Oh, sorry.
I think that with other states, it's important that, like, again, like with social media and making sure that you have like a network of people that you can go to if anything happens. Also, I'm not sure if you can hear me right now because my laptop died and I forgot it at my charger at home, so on phone. But I think that social media presence is very important. I think that having that open access to any state officer, any member of any other state could be a great asset to any member, state officer, or chapter officer.
Thank you, Jonathan. Okay, I'll go ahead and put one last thing to finish it off. I know that one thing the state presidents in the Southern region have already done is we're actually in a group me with Keenan, the Southern region VP, who has been talking to us and helping us and working with us to try and promote things for our states that correlate with the national level. Our next question is, what changes should we expect on the FBLA website? So I'll go ahead and get that started and then we can pass it to you all. The big main thing is just the navigation on it and how it looks. It'll be more user-friendly. I know in the past the website has been troublesome to navigate. Sometimes links don't work. They don't take you to the right place. We're currently working on making sure that everything works smoothly. It's a smooth process. You know, everything connects. There's one thing after the other. It's like building up a Lego set, except there's no missing Legos this time. Would you guys like to add anything? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. Who is one person that inspires you in FBLA? Would you guys like to go ahead and get started with that? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and I guess I'll get started on that. I can't really pick one specific person because there's a lot of people. You know, there's the advisors, all of them. They work so hard to make sure that the students are able to move ahead. They're able to go to the next level. My chapter advisor has been an incredible help to me and helping me get to where I am today, as well as my entire chapter. You've also got those people that take the first step. You know, this past couple weeks ago at NLC, Max won the national presidency, and he's been a huge inspiration for the entire state officer team, and hopefully for many people around the country. There's so many different people, students, advisors, that can truly inspire one person. My state advisor, Mrs. Jones, she's been an incredible inspiration. She's such a strong woman that, you know, she makes sure that the students come first, and she's truly helping them. Even though she has other things, she helps put FBLA above that, making sure that, you know, we're having a good time and we're enjoying ourselves and we're also getting stuff done. And I just want to thank them all for that as well. Would you guys like to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Albert Amaya, who was the PBL national president and who recently ended his term. He's just a huge inspiration within FBLA PBL because he first was in FBLA. He served as FBLA state president for Florida, and then he continued on his legacy, you know, reaching PBL state president and PBL national president. He's a great person to work with, and honestly, you know, he's been such a huge inspiration for me. Just seeing how he works and the commitment he has to FBLA and just all the members involved.
For me, I think that seeing like a lot of my friends from FBLA go from like before their campaign to when they ran at the national level and like them becoming a national officer, like for example, Verna Tavares, she like inspires me every day with her leadership, and I think that overall, like a lot of FBLA members inspire me every day. I think that seeing people that I've passed down, like for my local chapter, when I passed on presidency to Sophia Alvarado, who's the local chapter president for Coral Reef, I think that she really, seeing her grow into that position kind of inspired me to keep going and make sure I can fulfill my position as Region 5 Vice President to its fullest. And overall, just like, I think the people that I've met throughout the whole course of like my 7 years here, I think that it's just been an amazing experience and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Fantastic. Okay.
I think I can go next for someone who's really inspired me was really my FBLA advisor, to be honest. Starting into high school, FBLA wasn't that popular. We didn't have a middle school level. It was only like year 4 in existence when I started. And so she really kind of pulled me in because she knew I was like very outgoing with speaking competitions and officer positions in like every other organization. So she thought it would be a really good fit for me, and I fell in love with it from the first year to my first like state conference and just like the chapter officer conferences that we went to, I actually saw Jonathan everywhere I went. For some reason, I always remember Jonathan, like my first and second year, I was like, I want to know him because he's involved in almost like everything. And so I was so happy when I became an officer and Jonathan was on the team. Like, not to like, I don't want to sound too cheesy or anything, but I always saw Jonathan everywhere. And Jonathan really did inspire me to like just go out there with everything. But yeah, I would not be the person who I am without FBLA.
Oh, Ashley, I'm like, my heart is melting.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Nathan, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, basically going off what Ashley said, like, a lot of these people on this call are the people who inspire me to do the most in FBLA. Like, Max, he's the national president. Jonathan, he's done so much for his chapter. Like, everybody in this call always doing their work. They're always in a good mood. And they've really just shown me out the potential that I can have in FBLA. So it's really just amazing the work they put in helping me get to that point.
Thank you all for those touching words, guys. I think the audience is excited to hear what you guys had to say about that. They're probably, just like Jonathan was a minute ago, touched to the core. Our next question is, many chapters can find themselves financially strained throughout the year. Do you have any ideas on how to help lessen their burden or any tips to how they can raise funds? I'll go ahead and start with Jonathan.
Cool. Yeah, I think the number one thing that helps my chapter out is the Florida FBLA PBL Foundation grant. It's on the state website, and you find it under the foundation tab, and you can apply to receive a grant for a certain amount, whatever, like if it's for a conference or a regional, state, or maybe even national conference. I know Florida FBLA is very supportive of its members, and I think that that's the easiest way to seek some financial aid. I think that also like local business fundraising is also very important. I think that a lot of people value students, and I think that a lot of like business owners want to see the future succeed. And I think that if you contact a business and say, hey, we're future business leaders of America from so-and-so school, and we really need some help, and if you help us, we would be like ecstatic, and we'd be able to win some stuff for our like local area. So
I know Max already kind of talked about it a little bit ago, how all the resources the national website has. But I know a few things they have on there. It's like a guide that they have with tons of fundraisers that you can participate in and just ideas to get you started, as well as like a template that you can send out to businesses looking for sponsorships. And also another thing that we're going to be rolling out next month, a Google Drive. We're going to have lots of information in there with extra ideas on what you can do to fundraise. So if you are looking out for that in August, as well as the things on the national website, there's lots of opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, building off of what Jonathan said, I know a lot of states have, foundations and things like that certainly help out. And again, reiterating what Nathan said, the chapter management handbook guide certainly has a lot of resources that you guys can use. I know, for my chapter, some specific fundraisers that we do is World's Finest Chocolate, which is a great way to, I'm not trying to plug them or anything, but I'm just saying that, Krispy Kreme donuts, different resources, there are perfect packages in terms of fundraising in your area. So again, just reiterating Nathan's point about the chapter management handbook, certainly has a lot of resources for your chapters to use.
Thank you, Max. I know that one thing that me and Shady have done in the past, and we're still working on, is connecting with our local Chamber of Commerce. In each district within Florida, there's a Chamber of Commerce, and how that works, it's a group of local business leaders, businesses that come together to network and work on things for the community, to engage and build up their business. By reaching out to the Chamber of Commerce, it has helped provide funding for not only our chapter, but the entire district. It gives you the opportunity to work hand in hand with business leaders from a financial standpoint and also from an educational standpoint. Many of these business leaders, they allow for internship programs. They come to the school and speak. They help out with teaching certain things to the students. It's just a great way to connect with the community and help the community connect with FBLA. Currently, we're trying to engage the state on a different level, on a whole nother level, with the statewide Chamber of Commerce.
So I 100% agree with what Zach and everyone said, there's a lot of valuable resources that you can definitely use from the Florida FBLA website, from the National FBLA website. You can also use the previous resources from the previous state team. I know they had a webinar on fundraising and how your chapter could benefit. And this happens to all of our chapter. And that's what makes us business. Every business runs into a financial issue, and that's what happens in our own chapters. So we want to make sure to go out, local businesses, try to get sponsorships, go and do local fundraisers. And I said, go to businesses, ask for them, for their help, what they could do to FBLA, what you could give back, because that is business, and fundraising is 100% crucial. And that's why we're currently compiling a list and a guide of multiple fundraising ideas that would truly help each individual chapter.
Thank you, Shady.
If I could just add on just one more thing. I personally come from a smaller chapter where we have a limited budget for anything that we do. So fundraising is a very big part of our chapter. So what Max said is we also do a Krispy Kreme fundraiser where that is like the biggest fundraiser in our school. Everyone loves Krispy Kreme donuts because they get delivered right to their classroom, and everyone gets jealous and like, oh, I want to buy one. So that's one of our biggest fundraisers. But ever since every year that FBLA, especially our chapter, when we win an award or when we have a state officer, more of our community gets involved and they see what FBLA is doing for the students. So this past year, Subway ended up sponsoring us for a couple of our competition materials that we need, and they offered another fundraiser for us. So as years go on in your FBLA chapter, you get more of a success rating in it. You're going to build more financial standings with your community and more support with it. So
Thank you all for those outstanding tips. Before we move to the next question, I actually want to give a shout out to two people in the chat. First off is Adnan J. Duman. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I want to give a shout out for you for leaving your suggestions. Thank you for taking the initiative, for being an incredible FBLA member and asking and helping someone else in the chat by answering their question alongside us. Remember, guys, we're always looking forward to your input and your suggestions. So go ahead and email us with those specific suggestions, any specific questions you have, and we can help you in a direct, face-to-face, one-on-one meeting, sort of casual thing. I also want to give a shout out to Tyler Thomas, who's the new National Treasurer. He's actually helping us out in the chat as well by allowing you guys to contact him through his email. Along with Max, both of these national officers, along with the rest of the team, is extremely dedicated to helping you. So feel free to contact him if you have any questions when it comes to financing, as well as our team. If you guys ever need any help. Our next question is, how would we access that Google Drive? I'll go ahead and tell that directly. With the Google Drive, it will be sent out, since most of Florida has a school-based Gmail account. The Google Drive will work through that. Each chapter member will be invited to the Google Drive folder, to a specific Google Drive folder for them that contains certain resources inside of it that we're currently building for the future, which more information about that will come out in August. August is a big month because it's back to school. I know that many of us, most of us here start school back on August 10th. And so a lot of information will be coming out before then so that you guys can prepare for the start of school and the beginning new year for FBLA. With the Google Drive, it'll be invited to you. The link will be sent to you for you to join and you to have access to it. Whether it be from us directly, from your district officer, from a chapter officer, it will be shared with you and you will be invited to join that Google Drive so that you have access to it. Do you guys have anything else to note about that?
I know that there's other officers actually on the call right now. I know that we have different states representing, and the ones that I know of, Hannah Starling, Bruno Tavares, National Secretary, Justin Flemons, he's the PBL state president for Florida. Those are the ones I know of, but I know that there's plenty of other people watching. So if you have any other people, just shout themselves out in the chat, but I want to add them in.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, we have an incredible state officer team from Florida and from all around the country, as well as an outstanding national team. It's actually 8 o'clock right now, or 7 o'clock Central, so we're going to go ahead and start to get the webinar closing. But before we go, I want to make sure that each officer shares one thing fun that they're doing during the rest of the summer so that you get to see a little bit more about us. I'll go ahead and get us started. Towards Friday, towards the next week, I'm going to the board meeting And after that, I'm staying in Orlando to go to Disney World to visit the new Pandora world from James Cameron's Avatar. I'm excited to get to do that. I'm also going to be going to Volcano Bay to have some personal fun and, just enjoy the last little bit of my summer. So you guys will go ahead and go around and you can each share one thing that you're doing this summer for fun. Shady, would you like to get us started?
Yes, so my uncle and the family should be coming right down, so we'll enjoy it then, see my cousins, and I'll also be celebrating my dad's birthday, so that would be actually extremely fun.
Thank you, Shady. Nathan?
I'm going on a cruise next week, so that'll be fun.
Max?
After National Officer Training, I'll be going to Orlando and Disney with my family, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Jonathan?
I'm at Notre Dame until the 27th, and I actually have like a huge presentation competition going down, I guess you can say, between the seminar. So I have to go straight to research after this and spend my next week and a half studying hard.
Phenomenal, Jonathan. Ashley?
Okay, so last year I had the honor of being accredited parliamentarian. So this coming up at the end of the month, I'm going to the National Parliamentarians Conference in Orlando, and I'm going to give a kind of a meeting on how to correctly run a meeting through parliamentary procedure. And they just want to see how students are actively involved in their community by displaying correct parliamentary procedure in their organizations.
Fantastic, Ashley. You guys look like you all have a fun rest of the summer in store before school starts in August. I'm so glad that you all decided to spend your night with us here on the webinar. We look forward to seeing you in future webinars, as well as thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, find us on Instagram or contact us below. Our emails are in the chat, and you can also go to the national website if you want to find out more about how to contact national officers such as Max. If you ever need anything, feel free to contact us. We're here to help. Again, I hope you all have a wonderful summer. Thank you for having us, and have a wonderful night.